Now for a little segment we like to call
Let's Talk Real. Let's talk real. Let's talk real. Talk real. All right. Let's talk real.
What's up, guys? My name is Beast Mode, and I'm bringing you guys a Let's Play today. I like to give you guys a lot of variety, keep things different. I don't just talk about gameplay. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we get a little bit silly. Sometimes we just got random topics. It's a little bit absurd. We're going off the walls. It's all good-natured fun. And then sometimes, I really like to sit down when I feel like I have something to say and be a little bit more down to earth. A little bit more insightful. And I think that's the one thing that YouTube is really lacking as far as in the commentary sense in the video game world. And obviously that makes sense. That's what you would expect, because when you're watching video games, you're expecting to be entertained. You really don't want to think too much. You don't really want to think about things that have to do in the real world. And this doesn't have to do with something in the real world. It's just more of the sense of the Call of Duty community. And I want to explain this gameplay quick to you guys. You're going to notice this isn't how I normally play. For one, I'm using a gun, and you're like, what the heck? I usually am not using even a gun. Two, I got a gold ACR. That's a good gun, that's one of the good guns that you can expect to do well with. Two, I got a silencer on, and three, I'm using assassin. And you're thinking, what the heck? I also got kill streaks on. Double what the heck? What are you doing, Beast Mode? Are you actually trying to do well? Yeah. To be honest, guys, I am, and you're gonna notice I'm not running around with my chicken. Running around with my chicken. I am not running around like a chicken with my head cut off. It was me and Q-Tip playing this game, and we knew the team we were playing against played pretty objectively. They all had positive KDs, nothing crazy extreme, but our whole team, wasn't the best randoms. They had negative stuff. But ultimately, we knew these guys, they liked to attack insert. They definitely played objectively. When they had flags, they really did a good job of defending them. And when we had flags and they needed a flag, a second flag, they were very good about attacking it. They flanked well. You could tell that they were communicating together. And I knew going into that, I wasn't going to be able to run around. I was going to have to play a little bit more conservatively. I was going to have to be a little bit more, tactful, a little bit, just slow my gameplay down, essentially. I was going to have to go for my kill streaks, because I knew no one other maybe than Q-Tip was going to pick up their kill streaks. And, calling in an Overwatch or a Pavlo can really make the difference, because you're going to see later on I'll call in my Overwatch while I'm standing by B, and because it comes in and protects me, it's also shooting anyone around B, and it allows my teammates to then go capture the B flag. So ultimately, guys, I play to win. That's how I play. I don't care about how I do. I don't go into the games with a mindset of getting a good gameplay. I go into games to win, because ultimately, to me, it's just common sense. You play a game in order to win it, and if I'm not doing well, as long as we're winning, I'm okay. I can get frustrated if I'm not doing well and we're losing. But essentially, guys, I just want to talk about, and this is the main topic, is how Call of Duty has changed. And I can't just pinpoint Call of Duty. This is more about video games in general. The entire video game community and just how I've seen it change, because I've been playing Call of Duty, guys, since, the originals. COD 4 was really the first one that I got into on the consoles as far as Xbox 360. First one that I really invested a lot of time on online, and you guys know that. But I just want to talk about how things have changed, how people have changed, and I don't want to say like it's all because of this younger generation that's coming in. But the older generation is a little bit different, I think, than the younger generation, and that's not the younger generation's fault. I know a lot of people watching this are probably in that younger generation, because the largest demographic on YouTube is the 13 to 18-year-old age group, and that's how old I was when I was playing COD 4. I was like 16, so I'm in that age group. But I think just because of the way things changed, kids that are now picking up, say MW3 as their first game, they're surrounded by all these people that, play a certain way, are very insulting, very mean, very eager, and almost just at times, for no reason, just like to pick fights with people, bash on people, really, guys, the Call of Duty community, not just Call of Duty, I don't want to say that, just the video game community in general it's all about demoralizing people. And it is, and you know that that's true, and it's not true for everybody, but in a sense, people are, because they're talking through mics and they're not face to face, people are just jerks. Like, it's like the innermost jerk of people comes out. You are willing to say things you wouldn't say in real life. You try and just make the other players feel like garbage by the way they play, you know, by how well you beat them, just what gun they're using, insulting them. It's sad, to be honest, and I can't say I haven't fallen prey to that. If somebody, you know, is calling me out and is saying stuff to me, I'm definitely not one to just sit there. A lot of the times I just mute everybody in the lobby unless I'm playing with some friends. But ultimately, you know, like, I don't back down from fights. I will speak up for myself. And I think sometimes I just need to, you know, let trolls be trolls. But ultimately, guys, I just want to talk about how that has changed and how that's slowly developed. Back in Call of Duty 4, guys, no one, I'm not going to say no one, but really, there wasn't as much aggression as there is now. I'll just say that, aggression. Obviously, guys, video game smack talk has always existed, and to a point, I think that needs to exist. It's part of what makes a game fun. It's part of what makes it satisfying, you know? I'm not gonna say like, oh, smack talk is bad. You do smack talk, you go to hell, you know? You a big sinner for smack talking. Like, no. Like, it's a video game. It's supposed to be fun. And everybody, you know, especially me, I'm very competitive, you know, and I think everyone playing, and even though it's just a video game, for some of us, you know, and like me, you know, I'm done with sports now. I'm done with my whole career as far as that sense. It's kind of sad to say, but honestly, this is how for a lot of people, especially, you know, us older generation that are in the workforce and whatnot, this is where our competitiveness comes from, you know, like, this is the thing that we come to compete against other people, to still experience that thrill of winning, of, you know, battling it out with some other people. And back in the day, that's how it was, you know, and you battled it out, you duked it out, but at the end of the game, they were just other players that you were playing against. There wasn't any really personal gripes. You smack talked during the game, you smack talked a little bit after the game, but it was never taken farther than that. It was never taken to that excessive amount. And nowadays, people are willing to go to that excessive amount before the game even starts. People will join into a lobby, and instantly, people just start bickering with each other, people start fighting, and it's sad, guys. And ultimately, I hope at some point, and I don't see it happening, because, you know, once like that downward spiral happens, it's just going to keep going down, because as us older generation that was there for the original, like when COD 4 was its big deal, you know, and back in the original CODs, as we move out, you know, this younger generation that is kind of, I guess, associated with this negativity, they will be the old group, but they're still going to be, they're going to play the way they play now. And so all these younger players that are coming in, you know, are experiencing this online community for the first time. They're gonna pick up on what, you know, what they've been taught to do, you know. And I think the reason, you know, I think my age group, and I'm not picking out anybody, because there are some great people that still play, you know, and I'm not trying to, you know, be ageist or whatever you would call that, but I think, you know, I would probably, you know, if I came into the community right now as a younger kid, where I'm a little bit less mature, I'm a little bit more willing to be how everyone else is, coming in now, I would be the exact same way, you know. But because I came in during the time period I did, you know, with those gamers that were even older than me, in a sense, they set a good example, you know, like, people played games the way they should be played. Not everyone. There's always going to be, like, you know, trolls. There's always douchebags. But for the most sense, you know, I was brought up in that era, so, you know, that's just how I learned to play. And as this new generation comes in, and they come in with this new style, this new trash talk, you know, trolling, it sets an example for the younger generation. And so I don't really see this habit changing, because it's just a downward spiral. And it's going to keep going like that. And I do hope it changes, though, guys, because at times it really kind of ruins what video games are. It makes them less fun. People, you know, I think at times, you know, people just are jerks for no reason, and it's sad, you know, just to try and demoralize someone the way you do and whatnot. And ultimately, it just how Call of Duty has changed just in the fact of a gaming sense. People used to be all about playing for pride. You know, that's how you played. You played for pride. You didn't play for your personal glory. You didn't play so you could try and get a 10 KD. You didn't camp in a corner, you know, not helping your team. It was about winning. You wanted to help your team win, so you did whatever you could. You played the right way, because if you didn't, you know, it was really, it's more accepted now to play a certain way, you know what I mean? People just play like idiots. People play kind of what you would say scrubbish, newbie. People play like that more, and it's more accepted because more and more people do it. It's like half the community is doing that now. Back in the day, if you did that, people just instantly was like shunning you. You know, it's like, you know, that's not how we play, and you were looked down upon for doing that. You didn't like go sit in a corner and not cap any flags and just sit there and try and, you know, pick up your kill streaks, get a good kill death. But now, you know, I think kind of since Modern Warfare 2, people have become obsessed with their stats. Everybody thinks they're an MLG pro now. It's like, what happened to just having fun and playing the way it's supposed to play? And that's why I love this gameplay, guys. This is kind of what I'm going to finish on, is I feel sorry for the generation of now that hasn't gotten to experience this, of playing these games where, you know, both teams are duking it out, trying to win. Ultimately, it's just way more satisfying because you do it with good sportsmanship. After this game, I was talking to Q-Tip and I said, you know, that was a great game. This team, you know, they played hard, they did their best, and as soon as the kill cam was over, when I could hear the other players, I was expecting them to start griping and stuff. And you know what they said? They said, "Good game, guys. That was a lot of fun." And I was like, you know what? This is how it's supposed to be.